watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Breaking now at noon, DC public schools will be phone-free starting next school year. It's the latest school system to ban cell phones. More details ahead. But first, let's turn our attention to the weather this weekend. Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us now with the latest check on the forecast. And Damon, before we started the newscast, I asked you if this weekend is going to be sort of like a mixed bag.
And it sure is, Mark. Unfortunately, yeah, a busy weekend upcoming across the entire region, but it's going to be one of those situations where we always have to keep an eye to the sky. Showers and storms will be working their way in and out with a nearby storm system. And of course, we built up plenty of warmth and humidity for these storms to feed off of out there. This afternoon, we already have a line of storms that has developed out across some of our western counties. Now, things are relatively sunny and quiet the more east that you go. Nothing at all happening closer to the district, the I-95 corridor, much of Maryland and Virginia there. But it's this line of storms that is slowly drifting east that we will be watching over the next couple of hours this afternoon. Some heavier rainfall, thunder and lightning just worked on through Cumberland and Kaiser. These storms are exiting parts of Allegheny Mineral counties, and eventually here they're going to start to enter into Morgan, western Washington counties up toward the Hancock area. So as these move east, they are expected to weaken a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on things from Winchester up to Hagerstown. Things could get stormy within the next hour. And the later into the afternoon that we go, there will be a higher chance for some of these isolated showers and storms to the west to start rolling east. So we will expect at least a little bit of activity before the day is done across the rest of the DMV. A little stormy, still warm, still muggy. Now, what are the storm chances looking like heading into Saturday and Sunday? Have they changed at all compared to the last few days? We'll have a full look at that forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. We're just over 24 hours from World Pride Parade, and Dupont Circle will be closed for the weekend. This comes after NPD raised safety concerns because of prior issues at the park during gatherings. Now, workers spent the morning putting up security fencing. DC News Now's Yamarie Sase was there, and she spoke with people who live in the area.
Yeah, well, after some back and forth, the National Park Service made their decision. The fence is up, blocking off the entire Dupont Circle Park. And they say this is out of caution to avoid issues during World Pride weekend. But many in the area say this could have been handled differently.
I am profoundly disappointed and I'm profoundly pissed off.
Surprised and not shocked.
People in Dupont Circle disappointed to see fences being put up around the entire park.
People meet there at 6 a.m. in the morning to go on their runs, to walk their dogs, to do everything. And now it's completely shut down to everyone. And it's just not fair. This circle has been the forefront of the LGBTQ plus community for decades.
MPD originally requested the closure of the park Monday. They said the decision was made to prevent dangerous activity and damage like they've seen during previous Pride events. But after pushback from the community and city leaders, MPD withdrew their request Tuesday. But the National Park Police still decided to move forward with the security measures. In a statement, they said their goal is to secure the park, deter potential violence, reduce the risk of destructive acts, and decrease the need for extensive law enforcement presence.
Well, you'd think one or two police standing out here would be a lot cheaper than putting up a lot of fencing.
A&T Commissioner Jeff Ruckauer says there wasn't enough transparency around the decision.
There's nothing wrong with having concerns about, safety or, property, but it's completely the wrong way. It was went about completely the wrong way.
Despite the surprise, people we spoke with say they're going to focus on enjoying the weekend.
Huge sense of community and belonging, and I hope that transcends into this neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods.
Well, the temporary fence is expected to come down on Sunday around 6 p.m. We're now reporting in Northwest DC, I'm Yamarie Sase, DC News Now.
Yamarie, thank you. And the DC News Now team will also be out at the Pride Parade on Saturday. Look for us on the big bus. Say hi, grab a selfie, or just show us your pride. Well, we're going to be there, rain or shine. And the district public schools, DC Public Schools, announcing that it will ban cell phones in the classroom. A new policy starting for the 2025-26 school year. And will be a bell-to-bell policy, meaning that students will not be allowed to use their cell phones during school hours or on school grounds. The policy is for all students K through 12. Each school will have the autonomy to decide how to enforce the policy. Options include lockers, storage bins, pouches, and more. DCPS Chancellor Fairby says that this is all about creating the best learning environment for students.
We believe that this is an asset to creating that environment where we eliminate distractions for students, and we also create an environment that is positive, where students can create positive relationships with each other as well.
Well, this new policy comes as D.C. Council is considering legislation to ban cell phones in all charter and public schools in the coming school year. Currently, cell phones are banned in all DCPS middle schools. Now, school staffs can grant exceptions for extenuating circumstances, students with IEPS, field trips, and more. President Trump rolling out a new travel ban starting on Monday. People from 12 countries will be barred from coming to the U.S. The ban is for travelers mainly from African and Middle Eastern countries. That includes Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Afghanistan. President says it's for national security, citing the suspect accused in the Boulder, Colorado attack. He's from Egypt, which is not on the list. And he has advocates calling the new travel restrictions unnecessary and illogical.
In most of these countries, we have not had terrorist attacks or other extreme violent incidents. There's a risk of dividing families, endangering medical patients.
Cuba and Venezuela are among a small batch of countries facing new travel restrictions. The White House says that countries can be moved on or off the ban list upon review. And the president's travel ban affecting people here locally. Many immigrants from Sierra Leone, living in Prince George's County are upset after seeing their country on the travel ban list. Travel to the U.S. has been particularly restricted for some citizens from Sierra Leone, and County Council member Walla McBlaguez tells us that the concerns her residents shared with her yesterday about the partial ban.
We're concerned about those who have pending applications for status, but this one impacts even those with green cards, those who are residents here who are planning to travel.
Again, an important reminder, the travel ban policy takes effect on Monday. And speaking of travel, Reagan National Airport will be forced to temporarily close next weekend for the big military parade, the event celebrating the Army and President Trump's birthday. It's also set to snarl traffic near the National Mall. DC News Now's Ben Dennis is hearing from travelers. Many say this restriction will be a major inconvenience.
DC's heavily restricted airspace set to shut down sometime Saturday, June 14th. All for President Trump's military parade honoring the Army's birthday, which happens to fall on his.
Like, I get why they maybe shouldn't happen at the same time. I just don't get why the whole military thing is happening at all.
Good idea to close the runways?
No, because people still got to travel. Especially they didn't give anyone advance notice that they're going to do so. People already got flights in place.
The Army's plans for 50 aircraft to fly over the nation's capital means commercial flights in and out of Reagan National will pause, done to avoid any near misses with aircraft and fireworks mere months after January's tragedy on the Potomac River.
Given that just a couple months ago there was a plane crash with a military helicopter, I kind of feel like it's a little irresponsible.
For any military flights at all over the mall?
I don't think so.
The exact timing of Reagan National's closure is unknown, but the parade is scheduled for 6:30 to 7:30 at night and fireworks to start at 9:45 p.m. In addition to a flyover, expect to see thousands of soldiers walk by and 150 military vehicles, including tanks.
It's going to be awesome.
Colonel Jess Curry is among Army engineers helping plan the parade. His team has started installing these metal plates to protect pavement so roads don't get ripped up.
Very low concerns that there will be any damage or limited damage at all, and remain committed that the Army is going to make it right on the backside if something unexpected happens.
Our thanks to Ben Dennis, and the Colonel also tells DC News Now that roads on and near the parade route should reopen by Monday, June 16th. And while flights at Reagan will be shut down next Saturday, the airport authority tells us that Dulles will remain open. However, no word on any possible delays that day. Well, quick update on that oil spill in the Baltimore harbor. State leaders emphasize that there's no impact to the area's drinking water. Crews are working to remove the red dye from the fuel from the water of the more than 2,000 gallons of oil spilled into the harbor. Baltimore's fire chief says that the water will continue to improve over time. Officials say that a Johns Hopkins hospital pipeline leak was the cause. Well, we're 6 days into June, and if you can believe it, which means it's a good time to find out if you're right on track with your financial goals. And for the year, and Laura Hutchinson with our sister station is stretching your dollar with a mid-year check-in.
We're almost halfway through 2025, and experts say now is a good time to check in on your financial goals.
I think a lot of people, set goals for themselves at the beginning of the year. And, life changes, things happen, and you've got 6 months under your belt to really see how things are different than what you expected.
Start by reviewing the goals you made at the beginning of the year and make sure they're realistic. If you've had any major financial changes like a big car repair or life changes like a baby on the way, revise your goals to reflect your current priorities. Review your budget by comparing your actual income and spending to what you projected in January, and evaluate where you can make changes.
Take a look at that list of subscriptions that you have, and maybe, clear some of those out. Do you have credit cards? Do you have personal loans? Do you have student debt? Where are you going to prioritize your payments to make sure that you're making progress?
If your current debt strategy isn't working, consider refinancing options like a debt consolidation loan.
Oftentimes you can take debt that feels unmanageable because it's across, for example, a bunch of different credit cards at different rates, different minimum payments, bring that into one loan, have it in one spot, fixed rate, and really put yourself on a budget to be able to manage that debt down over time.
Consider rebalancing your investment portfolio if your allocations have drifted due to market changes, and assess your emergency fund. If your savings are below target, create a plan to steadily increase those contributions.